Chapter 5. The Blood Ritual and the Fool. All mankind shall grovel at my feet and not know why. Ron Hubbard. Self-hypnotic affirmation. Having stolen Parsons' girl and his money in 1946, Hubbard carried on with magical practices of his own devising. In 1984, the Scientology organization tried to reclaim documents that recorded these practices in a legal case against former Hubbard archivist Jerry Armstrong. Omar Garrison was paid $280,000 not to publish his authorized biography based upon Armstrong's vast Hubbard archive. However, Garrison retained copies of thousands of Hubbard documents and showed this author one that was referred to in the Armstrong case. Its authenticity was never questioned by Scientology's lawyers, who were suing for its return and insisted it be sealed from public view. The Blood Ritual is a handwritten invocation of the Egyptian goddess Hathor, performed by Hubbard in the late 1940s. As the name suggests, the ritual involved the use of blood. Hubbard mingled his own blood with that of his then-wife, Sarah Northrop, the girlfriend stolen from Parsons, with whom Hubbard contracted a bigamous marriage. Hathor is yet another name for Hubbard's holy guardian angel, the Empress, one of many names. In a 1952 Scientology lecture, Hubbard called Aleister Crowley "my very good friend." In reality, the two magicians never met. And Crowley gives no hint of friendship with Hubbard. Indeed, as we have seen, Crowley dismissed Ron Hubbard as a confidence trickster. Even so, Hubbard had a very positive regard for Crowley, calling his work fascinating and recommending a Crowley book to all Scientologists. Having referred to Crowley as the Beast 666, Hubbard said that he had picked a level of religious worship which is very interesting. He also made it clear that he had read the fundamental text of the Crowley teaching, the Book of the Law. In these 1952 Scientology doctorate lectures, Hubbard also referred to the tarot cards, saying that they were not simply a system of divination, but a philosophical machine. He later used the same words to describe Scientology. In the tarot, he made particular mention of the Fool card, saying, "The Fool, of course, is the wisest of all." Hubbard certainly considered himself to be the wisest of all. Just as the Empress represents his holy guardian angel, so the Fool represents Hubbard himself. He continued, "The fool who goes down the road with the alligators barking at his heels and the dogs yapping at him, blindfolded on his way, he knows all there is to know and does nothing about it. Nothing could touch him." In Crowley's interpretation, nothing can touch the fool, because the fool has become nothing, a vacuum, and is represented by the number 0, which Hubbard would later use to represent the Thetan, or spiritual self. To Crowley, the fool is the boundless air, the wandering ghost. Hubbard is describing the archetype of the holy fool, which runs through mystical literature. Outwardly, the mystic behaves as a fool, while cultivating spiritual power. Crowley's is one of the few tarot packs with an alligator on the Fool card. In the Hubbard archive, collected by Jerry Armstrong and kept secret by Scientology ever since, there is a Hubbard scale dating from the 1940s. At the base of the scale is the word animals. It then ascends through labourers, farmers, financiers and fanatics onto the Fool, and above the Fool there is only God. As Crowley says, in order to understand any given card, one must identify with it completely. If Hubbard saw himself as the Fool, perhaps he was trying to create a trampoline of fanatics through whom he could vault to divinity. Indeed, if Scientology lived up to its claims, Hubbard was not simply a god, but a god-maker. Of course, the tarot pack also contains the Empress card, representing Hubbard's holy guardian angel. Crowley explored the tarot in the Book of Thoth. The Egyptian Book of Thoth is the holy grail of magicians, alleged to date back millennia and to contain the secrets of magic. It is long lost, if it ever existed, but Crowley believed he had reconstructed it from the tarot. Crowley's book was originally published in an edition of only 200 copies. It seems highly likely that Jack Parsons had a copy, and just as likely that Hubbard stole it. As we have seen, Crowley said of the Empress card, she combines the highest spiritual with the lowest material qualities. She is Crowley's Babylon, the mother of abominations. Crowley identifies the Empress as the Great Mother, and indeed on her robe are bees, the traditional symbol of the mother goddess Cybele. Crowley is not alone in the belief that different cultures give different names to the same deities, and can be dated to the Roman era, where the initiate of Isis, Apuleius, listed the personifications of the mother goddess throughout the empire. This practice of conflating deities at the meeting point of separate cultures was common in ancient times. The worship of Cybele goes back to at least 3000 BCE. She entered Greek culture as Artemis, and to the Romans was Diana, the huntress. Crowley also identified the Empress with the Hindu goddess Shakti and the Egyptian goddesses Isis and Hathor. Crowley directly identified Isis with Diana. More usually, Crowley called the Empress by the name Babylon, his Holy Mother, Hubbard's Holy Mother too. Contemporary New Age groups see the Great Mother in the aspect of Gaia, the caring Earth Mother. This is far from Crowley's view. Diana, the patroness of witchcraft, was seen by Hubbard through the eyes of Crowley, rather than as a benevolent, loving mother. Hubbard made no reference, for example, to Robert Graves' White Goddess, but only to Crowley and peripherally to Fraser's Golden Bough and Gibbon's Decline and Fall, both of which refer to the cult of Diana. To Crowley, the Great Mother, Babylon, is of course also the Antichrist, the force that intends to destroy Christianity and overthrow the Christian God. While Crowley's path was submission to the Empress, Hubbard's ritual with Parsons tried to enslave the same force, bringing it into human form as a servile homunculus. Hubbard's eldest son Nibs was insistent that his father taught him magic and privately referred to his personal goddess as Hathor. The blood ritual confirms this claim. It is unlikely that Scientology will ever reveal it, but I've seen it with my own eyes. Publicly, Hubbard was taken with the Roman name of the goddess Diana, giving it to a daughter by his third wife and to one of his Scientology Sea Organization boats. Curiously, this boat was formerly the Enchanter, and before Scientology he had sailed another called the Magician. Hubbard also used Jack Parsons' money to buy a yacht called Diane. Dianetics may also be a reference to Diana. Shortly before its inception, another former US Navy officer and practitioner of the 8th degree of the Ordo Templi Orientis had formed a group called Dianism. This all seems fanciful, until the ritual significance of names as used by believers in magic becomes clear. Magicians seek to insert their invocations into the everyday world without any explanation of their meaning. By persuading others to repeat the name Diana, Hubbard probably believed he was amplifying his own magical power. When the blood ritual was mentioned during the Armstrong trial in 1984, Scientology's lawyer asserted that it was an invocation of an Egyptian goddess of love. Hathor is indeed popularly seen as a winged and spotted cow that feeds humanity. However, there is an important lesson about Scientology in the practice of magicians. The teachings of magic are considered by many practitioners to be so powerful and potentially dangerous that they must be kept secret. They are often hidden in plain sight. One of the easiest ways to conceal the true meaning of a teaching is to reverse it. In The Masks of God, Joseph Campbell argued persuasively that deities frequently contain their own polar opposite. In Greek mythology, the twins Artemis and Apollo exemplify this principle. For Hubbard, as for Crowley, Artemis is both Diana and Hathor. She represents the night and darkness, just as Apollo represents the day and light.